Well, basically, voiceover is a narrator's voice or maybe a character's voice that you hear over the picture. But the key is it doesn't come from within the scene itself. It's aimed specifically at you, the audience. So it's different from dubbing, replacing dialogue.
Or just like off-screen dialogue.
Right, exactly. Or voice acting where a character's just off camera. VO is a deliberate choice. It's meant to speak, well, directly into your head in a way.
But isn't there a risk there? Doesn't voiceover sometimes feel a bit, I don't know, heavy-handed?
Oh, definitely.
Like the film's just spoon-feeding you everything instead of letting you figure it out.
That's the big controversy, absolutely. When it's done well, voiceover can be incredibly powerful. But yeah, bad VO can make a story feel way too simple or tedious or even confusing. The biggest trap is when it becomes a kind of babysitter voice.
Explaining what you can already see.
Exactly. It just explains what's obvious on screen. And that completely undercuts that golden rule of filmmaking. Show, don't tell.
Kills the nuance.
Totally. Flattens everything the director's trying to build visually. Makes it monotonous.
Okay, so when does it work then? How do filmmakers avoid that trap and actually use VO to create something, powerful?
Well, when it really clicks, VO is amazing for revealing things like internal thoughts, deep emotions, a character's very personal point of view, stuff that would feel totally fake if they just said it out loud in dialogue.
Right, you get inside their head.
It's your direct line in, and it can also give you vital background info, exposition really quickly, especially useful at the beginning of a film, set the stage efficiently. And it's brilliant for setting a specific mood or tone.
Mean Girls is such a great example of VO used for comedy and rhythm.
Oh, absolutely.
Cathy Heron's narration, it's like this outsider's view, almost scientific, observing the high school jungle.
It pulls you right into her confusion.
Right.
Why do you wear your hair like that? Your hair looks so sexy pushed back. Katie, will you please tell him his hair looks sexy pushed back?
Regina was dangling Aaron in front of me on purpose. I knew how this would be settled in the animal world. But this was girl world.
Your hair looks sexy pushed back.
And in girl world, all the fighting had to be sneaky.
And the genius is the timing.
Yeah.
It's not just constant talking. It syncs perfectly with the editing. You get pauses, cutaways that show what she's thinking.
Yeah, the rhythm is key.
So the narration isn't just giving facts. It's leading how you feel, adding all these layers of comedy.
Then you have something totally different like Citizen Kane. That classic voice of God style.
Oh, yeah. The newsreel opening. Still amazing.
It is. This authoritative, serious voice just rapidly sums up Kane's whole public life. Key events, his public image.
It's incredibly efficient. Gets so much information across so fast.
Exactly. Sets up the whole non-linear structure, builds that huge mystery around Rosebud.
Here in Xanadu last week, Xanadu's landlord was laid to rest. A potent figure of our century, America's Kubla Khan, Charles Foster Kane. Its humble beginnings in this ramshackle building, a dying daily. Kane's empire in its glory held dominion over 37 newspapers, 2 syndicates, a radio network, an empire upon an empire. The first of grocery stores, paper mills, apartment buildings, factories, forests, ocean liners, an empire through which for 50 years flowed in an unending stream the wealth of the Earth's 3rd richest gold mine. Famed in American legend is the origin of the Kane fortune. How to boarding house keeper Mary Kane by a defaulting boarder in 1868 was left the supposedly worthless deed to an abandoned mine shaft, the Colorado Lode.
70 years in a man's life.
That's a lot to try to get into a newsreel.
It's a good show, Thompson, but what it needs is an anchor. Charles Foster Kane died. He said just one word.
Rosebud.
Not
all he said. A tough guy, huh?
Yes, Rosebud.
Eyes calling
just
for
that
Rosebud.
one word. But who is she?
What was that?
Here's a man that could have been president, who was as loved and hated and as talked about as any man in our time. But when he comes to die, he's got something on his mind called Rosebud.
Puts you, the viewer, in the position of an investigator right from the start.
Precisely.
And then there's Stranger Than Fiction, where the voiceover isn't just commentary, it's like the actual plot device.
Yeah, that's such a clever one. Harold Crick, this ordinary guy, starts hearing a voice narrating his life, his very boring life.
Ah, yeah.
And then he figures out it's an author writing a novel, and he's the main character.
And she's planning to kill him off.
Right. So the film just completely breaks the rules. The VO becomes this engine exploring massive ideas like destiny versus free will.
If one had asked Harold, he would have said that this particular Wednesday was exactly like all the Wednesdays prior. And he began it the same way he... And he began it the same way he always did.
Hello?
He began it the same way he always did. When others' minds would...
Hello? Someone there?
When others' minds would fantasize about their upcoming day or even try to grip onto the final moments of their dreams, Harold just counted brush strokes.
All right, who just said Harold just counted brush strokes? And how do you know I'm counting brush strokes? Hello?
It starts mundane, then it almost seems to guide him.
Until he realizes and fights back. It messes with your head, too.
It really does. And for something more poetic, look at Amélie.
Ah, yes. Love that film.
It has this omnipotent outside narrator, but they're so whimsical and graceful.
Floating between characters.
Yeah, giving you these charming little insights, their specific likes and dislikes.
Nous sommes le 29 août. Dans 48 heures, le destin d'Amélie Poulain va basculer. Mais ça, pour le moment, elle n'en sait rien. Pour elle, la vie tranquille suit son cours parmi ses collègues et les habitués du café. Elle, c'est Suzanne, la patronne. Elle boite un peu, mais elle n'a jamais renversé un verre. Quand elle était jeune, elle était danseuse équestre à Medrano. Elle aime les sportifs qui pleurent de déception. Elle n'aime pas voir dans son café un homme se faire humilier devant son enfant. Moi, je pense, et toi, tu obéis. Au tabac, c'est Georgette, la malade imaginaire. Quand elle n'a pas de migraine, c'est le nerf sciatique qui coince. Celle-là n'aime pas entendre, le fruit de vos entrailles est béni. Voilà Gina, la collègue d'Amélie. Sa grand-mère était guérisseuse. Ce qu'elle aime, c'est faire craquer les os.
Those details are wonderful.
And the VO there, it's not really driving the plot forward in the same way. It's mostly about creating atmosphere, that magical feeling, enhancing the film's unique style.
It deepens the emotional connection by showing you the magic in small things. Reinforces that whole whimsical tone.
It really shows VO as an artistic tool, not just a narrative crutch.
Okay, but let's talk about when it maybe doesn't work so well. You mentioned controversy. Blade Runner.
Ah, yes, the famous case. The 1982 theatrical cut of Blade Runner.
Yeah.
That voiceover, Rick Deckard's kind of tired, world-weary narration.
Yeah.
They don't advertise for killers in a newspaper. That was my profession. Ex-cop. Ex-Blade Runner. Ex-killer.
That wasn't Ridley Scott's idea. It was forced by the studio. They were worried audiences wouldn't get the complex plot, the philosophical vibe.
Oh, okay. Studio notes.
Exactly. And the problem was, well, twofold, really. One, it was often totally redundant, just saying things you could clearly see.
Like the babysitter voice again.
Pretty much. And two, crucially, it just demolished the ambiguity Scott wanted about Deckard himself. Is he human? Is he a replicant?
Which was the whole point, that uncertainty.
Right. Scott wanted you to wrestle with that question, but the VO tried to give you an answer, or lean heavily one way. It removed that central dilemma about what it means to be human.
So, clear example of maybe commercial worries interfering with the art. But I feel like I've heard some people say they actually like that version.
Okay, yeah. Here's where it gets really interesting. Because despite most critics kind of panning that VO, some critics, and a lot of viewers actually, genuinely appreciate it. Their argument is that Harrison Ford's weary voice, it's a deliberate nod, an homage to classic film noir.
Ah, okay. The hard-boiled detective trope.
Exactly, where that kind of narration was standard. So for them, his voice adds emotional depth that creates that specific detective atmosphere, pulls you into that dark, rainy world.
Where it adds to the mood for them.
Yeah, they feel it gives you a more direct window into Deckard's head, his sarcasm, his exhaustion, his moral doubts.
Makes him more than just an action hero chasing replicants.
That's the idea. It enriches his character within that neo-noir framework. So, you know, it's fascinating how one choice can split audiences like that. Different emotional connections entirely.
Definitely shows there's rarely one right answer in film.
The charmer's name was Gaff. I'd seen him around. Bryant must have upped him to the Blade Runner unit. That gibberish he talked was city speak, gutter talk, a mishmash of Japanese, Spanish, German, what have you. I didn't really need a translator. I knew the lingo every good cop did. But I wasn't going to make it easier for him.
So, if VO is guiding our inner thoughts, what about the stuff we actually see? That brings us to B-roll, right? The unsung hero.
That's a perfect way to put it. B-roll. Basically, it's all the extra footage that isn't the main action.
So not the main dialogue scenes or the big interviews.
Right. That's usually called A-roll. B-roll is everything else. Those atmospheric shots, mid-transition shots, close-ups of objects, details, any visual material that enriches the story.
And technically, it has a job to do.
Oh, yeah. Technically, it's like the editor's best friend. It lets them cover up jump cuts.
Those awkward cuts where someone's head suddenly jerks.
Exactly. Those abrupt edits in the same shot. You can smooth them over by inserting some relevant B-roll. Makes the transition seamless. Like if you cut out a cough in an interview, you slap some B-roll over it, showing what they're talking about.
Okay, so it's a practical tool, but it's more than just fixing edits, isn't it? It shapes how we feel.
Absolutely. Way more. Artistically, narratively, B-roll is huge. It's great for changing the pace of a scene, stopping it feeling monotonous, especially in documentaries, right? Breaking up those endless talking headshots.
Yeah, it gives your eyes a break.
But its real power, I think, is adding layers of meaning, emotion, information that the main dialogue might not even hint at.
Subtext.
Exactly. What's often missed is how specific B-roll shots can subconsciously prime you, create symbolism, even foreshadow things without a single word. You know, a quick shot of storm clouds while two people argue.
Says everything about the mood.
Right. It's visual poetry almost.
We've seen how voice and visuals work. What happens when they just shatter that illusion completely? When a character looks right at you, it's more than just a cute trick, yeah.
Oh, much more. When we talk about breaking the fourth wall in movies, it's not quite like live stand-up comedy where there's real-time back and forth.
Right, it's planned.
It's about creating an illusion of that spontaneity, that intimacy. The character acknowledges you, the audience, makes you their direct confidant. Every single word, every glance, it's all meticulously planned. But the magic is in making it feel direct and personal.
And the goal is?
Usually it's to forge this really close, intimate bond, sharing thoughts, secrets, often used for humor, definitely, or maybe giving you crucial plot info directly, or revealing some deep philosophical part of their character.
Guns, or watching violent videos. Some sort of culture of violence will take them over. Nobody worries about kids listening to thousands, literally thousands of songs about heartbreak, rejection, pain, misery, and loss. Did I listen to pop music because I was miserable? Or was I miserable because I listened to pop music?
Pulls you in differently.
It completely changes your role. You're not just passively watching anymore. You're kind of engaged, almost complicit in what's happening.
We've got some amazing examples of this. Woody Allen's Annie Hall. His character, Alvy Singer, talks straight to the camera right from the start. Just lays out all his thoughts, his feelings, his worries.
Yeah, totally neurotic and open.
And that famous scene, he's arguing with some guy in a movie line about Marshall McLuhan. And he gets so frustrated, he turns to us, explains the situation, and then just pulls Marshall McLuhan himself into the frame to prove his point.
Yeah, now Marshall McLuhan deals with it in terms of it being a high intensity, you understand? A hot medium.
What I wouldn't give for a large sock with horse manure in it.
Which he uses essentially
what do you do when you get stuck on a movie line with a guy like this behind you?
Wait a minute, why can't I give my opinion? It's a free country.
He can give you. Do you have to give it so loud? I mean, aren't you ashamed to pontificate like that? And the funny part of it is, Marshall McLuhan, you don't know anything about Marshall McLuhan's work.
Really? I happen to teach a class at Columbia called TV, Media, and Culture. So I think that my insights into Mr. McLuhan, well, have a great deal of validity.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Well, that's funny because I happen to have Mr. McLuhan right here. So, yeah, just let me come over here a second.
Oh,
Tell him.
I heard what you were saying.
You know nothing of my work. You mean my whole fallacy is wrong. How you ever got to teach a course in anything is totally amazing.
Boy, if life were only like this.
It's brilliant, hilarious, and so meta.
And that whole technique, it does more than just tell jokes or plot. It opens up this really complex, messy inner world. You feel like you're his therapist or something. It really deepens that connection to his anxieties.
It makes him incredibly relatable, despite the absurdity.
Now, thinking beyond comedy, James Burke's documentary series, Connections, that was groundbreaking for its time, right? You know, how it used this.
Absolutely pioneering. Burke wrote and hosted it, and he deliberately, tore down the walls of how educational TV usually worked.
No boring lectures.
No static talking head at all. He called himself a walking head. He was dynamic, kind of eccentric, moving through the world, but constantly addressing you, the viewer, directly.
Yeah, I remember that stuff.
And instead of just listing facts, he used this witty, often dry humor to show how history and inventions connect in these really surprising, non-linear ways.
Connecting the dots differently.
Exactly. His whole approach, that informal, interactive style, it was designed to teach you how to think, not just what to think, to show that truth isn't always straightforward.
And didn't he have one incredibly timed moment using this? With a rocket launch.
Oh, the Titan rocket launch scene. Yes, one of TV's most legendary moments.
Yeah.
It was 1977. They were filming at Cape Canaveral. Burke stands there, live, right in front of this massive Titan III E Centaur rocket.
Not green screen.
No, completely live, single shot. He delivers this perfectly timed, like 10-second monologue directly to the camera. Then, right on cue, as the rocket ignites,
He
turns, points straight at it. It's carrying the Voyager 2 probe and just says, "You get that," as it blasts off right behind him.
Wow. Must have been nerve-wracking. One take.
He knew he had one shot. That level of planning, the flawless execution, it's just incredible. Not just spectacle, but how directly he brought you into that huge moment of scientific history.
Flask permits you to store vast quantities of those gases safely in the frozen liquid form until you want to ignite them, at which point you take the top off the flask, the gases evaporate, you apply a light, and boom. Now, two gases do that better than any other. And it was Obert's assistant who put them together most efficiently. His name was Werner von Braun. And the two gases that he released from his particular version of a thermos flask, the one lying on its side behind me now, were hydrogen and oxygen. If you release those two gases into a confined space with a hole at the other end of it and mix them as you do so, and then set light to them, you get that. Destination, the moon or Moscow. The planets or Peking.